first roundtable discussion, the title of which is going to be Asset Class Yet Non-Essential, Retrospection and Moving Forward. And for that, ladies and gentlemen, we request the presence of Mr. P.R. Somasundaram, Managing Director, India World Gold Council, to moderate this very, very important session. And joining him on the panel, may we request Mr. Prithviraj Kothari. Kothari-ji, your kind presence here on the dais. Thank you so much. Mr. Rajesh Khosla-ji, AGRM, Chairman Emeritus, MMTC PAM, Mr. Shivanshu Mehta, MCX, Mr. K. Srinivasan, Emerald Jews representing GJE, PC, beg your pardon, Mr. Amar Singh, JP Morgan, and Mr. Naval Patel, HDFC Bank, representing India Bullion Banks Association. Thank you so much to all the members of the discussion. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Mr. Somasundaram. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, if, concerning the questions and the queries regarding the theme of this particular roundtable conference, Asset Class Yet Non-Essential, Retrospection Moving Forward, we request all of you to post your questions on slido.com with the password, of course, we had shared is IIGC 2019, so that they can be taken up post the discussion in the open house session. And with that, I hand it over to you, sir. Thank you.
Glad to be back again. I promise you, you won't have much more of me after this. Yeah. I don't know why they make me moderate such high-powered things every time. And that's just giving me a tough job, honestly.
So I think it's because you're seen to be the most neutral of the world.
I am seen to be. Rajesh always used to say, I'm seen to be, I'm not. I have my own views as well. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is a very, very important and a very good start. I'll try and do justice. It's not just those who are sitting here. We're going to be engaging people sitting out there as well. We have about an hour from now. So I would, as is my thing, I would request everybody to be brief, direct, and don't mince words, but be direct. There's no need to give lots of things, but please be direct. We are going to have a good debate. Now, what is this title about? Just for those who probably can't relate to this, let me explain to you. With all the policy work that was done, we made sure that the government, as an industry, the government did come out in 2018 during the annual budget exercise, and the finance minister made a claim that we will have three things about gold. One of them was that gold, we will have a comprehensive gold policy to make gold an asset class. Now, coming from India, which has seen gold as a what we call as a sin asset or idle asset, this was a very, very significant statement. The second statement was we will have a system of gold spot exchanges across the country to make sure that trading price, everything is there. Third one is we will revisit the gold monetization scheme so that it becomes more effective. Now, these statements are made on the, in the parliament, and therefore there was a lot of expectation. And soon after that, the Niti Aayog report, which with very comprehensive recommendations, it is public. People who are interested can pull it from the Niti Aayog site. That was also drawn up. So there was a lot of euphoria amongst the industry. Now, exactly. And even as early as February 19, when the finance minister gave the interim budget, there was no indication that there was anything wrong about the gold. Everything seems great. The GST was growing. And soon after the elections, when we were hoping that announcements would come, and in between we have been working on various policy initiatives, including spot exchange. There was a committee formed. Some of the colleagues here and in the audience were all part of that committee. We gave lots of information to the government. to make them come to the conclusion. But here was July, and we suddenly hear only one statement saying that we didn't even have a statement, if I remember right. There was an annexure to the budget which said gold duty has increased by 2.5%. Now, as I said, duty increase itself does not mean anything, but the fact was the subsequent statement made by the finance minister that this is a non-essential import. Right? Now, that was a complete 180-degree change from an asset class to a non-essential import. Now, that didn't gel well. Now, we understood the context in which they were saying. In the context of revenue raising, this is not essential, this is not oil. That's what they meant to say. But still, it shook the confidence. And that's where the debate is in this audience. Now, I've got a banker, two bankers. I've got Exchange, I've got Rajesh Khosla, the refinery and standards, etc. Prithviraj Kodari, everything about the trade he knows. And I've got Srinivasan. Not only does he represent GJEPC, which is a very limited introduction of him, he runs the most modern jewelry factory in India. It's down south. I have promised I will visit him, but he has definitely certain things to say, how this thing has affected. So let me first come to Srini first. I'm not coming in any order. Let me come to Srini. Srini, what do you think? You're also representing GJEPC. You must all have spoken to the Commerce Minister at some stage. I don't know. I'm not asking you to tell us what he said in private, but what's your sense? Is this a change of thinking, or is it just that a revenue-raising exercise, which is understandable? What's it?
Last Commerce Minister, very positive.
He was very positive.
Very positive. He was supporting the industry. This is surprise to us. New finance minister has come. Increase in duty is totally unacceptable. Because actually, over the period, they have become organized. One single day, become unorganized. I think government should support organized players, organize the industry. Government should not support unorganized things. It's totally disappointment. I don't know how many years will it take rebuild this.
But do you think it is such a significant step, just at 2.5% duty, that organized will become unorganized?
Sir, what you are saying is right. It is actually not only 2.5%. The legal channel and illegal channel difference is nearly 5%. Actually, small jewelers know this 5% for them is very big. It's tempting. They also want business. Actually, 5% cheaper. They are trying to buy and sell cheaper. But organized players cannot do all these things, so that they are behind.
Okay. Now, coming back to Prithviraj, my question to you. Yeah, we all saw the duty. I don't want the discussion to be around duty alone. Do you really see this as a change of thinking, or simply government just trying to raise revenue? If we were in that position and we were raising revenue, there's nothing wrong about it. Yeah, gold is growing, and why can't it give 2.5%? International prices went up by 13% in the last 2 weeks. Whether a consumer pays to a bullion bank or a refiner abroad or to the government, the consumer was paying 13%, so the government would have thought and said, why not another 2.5% for me? What's wrong with that? What?
International are higher, the rupee depreciate also,
Yes.
and third, the customs duty. It is 12.5% plus 3% GST. It means total cost of 15.5%. If I am not wrong, every day there should be the 10,000s of passengers are coming from abroad to India and India to abroad. If you calculate each passenger, I'm not talking about the smuggling. Everyone says the smuggling per jayega, smuggling. I'm not worried about the smuggling. Nothing. Because the department is more active, the instrument, the system, excellent. But how you can stop every passenger, if they wear 100 grams of gold and 10,000 passengers in a day, if calculated in a 365 days, the whole industry survived. Because the artisans, the big brand of jewelers, the big brand like huge stores is there, they are more survived. And slowly it's if happened, then 15.5% up. If government is not reduced or nothing, do anything, I think it's bad for the industry and lot of the NPAs should be there.
Good. So, Rajesh, I'm coming to you. I'll come to the bankers last because they always have the last word. And Rajesh, I want to ask you this question. Do you really think the consumer gets the 2.5% duty? Where is this issue here? So yes, 15.5% I agree is a big thing. But look at it today, look at my other investment classes, okay? Looking at all that, I will still buy gold, right? If it makes sense for me. And I anyway have some social obligations to keep gold for various things. So there is a stickiness in my gold demand. Yeah, 15.5% goes to the government. Is that a consumer issue? Why is the trade making such a big issue? Is it right? I want your view on this.
Well, let me give you a first-hand example. We had a wedding in the family recently because I'm associated with the gold industry, so everybody came to me and said, jewelry khareedniya, jewelry khareedniya. And I said, fine, I will introduce you, take you around the entire spectrum of the gold jewelry as I see it. And we went to 5 different jewelry shops, and I will not name them. And we were extremely disheartened. Finally, of course, I took them to Tanishq. No disrespect meant to the community here. Every piece of jewelry they bought was from Tanishq. The point I'm making is that the consumer today is more conscious and more aware than the consumer we knew of 10 or 20 years ago. The consumer is wanting quality. The consumer is wanting assurance, and the consumer will pay the price for it. The same way we stopped buying Bata shoes many years ago, no disrespect meant for Bata, and we said it's either a Nike or an Adidas or a whatever. So I agree with you that from a consumer's perspective, price is important, but it is not the sole determining factor. And therefore, this is the opportunity for industry to get its act together and provide a consumer with quality and assurance, and take it from me, the consumer will pay the price for it. Doesn't care what the duty is. If I want it, I'm going to buy it. And if I'm going to buy it, I would like to have good quality.
So that's something which is interesting, and I'll come back to some of the industry veterans here again. Coming back to the bankers, since you guys also interact with others, and one is from domestic and other is bullion banking. Now, first of all, how do you see the announcement? Is it a complete reversal of everything we have been talking about, or you just see it as just a revenue raising exercise, and therefore the industry just needs to move on with whatever its issues are, and we will hear more about spot exchange, bullion banking, which are the real solutions long term. Otherwise, 3 years from now, we will again be sitting and probably GST will go up and we'll be discussing that. Now, what is your view? What do you think we are heading? What do you think is the government's thinking? I'm just trying to put you in the shoes of, you interact with RBI, etc. How do they look at it?
Yeah. So my basic thought is, I think it's taken the market by surprise, because all this time we've been talking about a rate cut, and instead of a rate cut or status quo, it became a rate hike. Right? Don't really blame anyone, the government, to do that, because you can't give indications to the market that I'm going to hike the rates, because everyone will be scampering for gold. Right? So it had to be a bit of a surprise for the market. So from managing the trade, I think you can't blame them for giving a surprise to the market. I don't think the position of the government has changed as such, because it cannot afford to change. We have a perennial problem of trade deficit, right? And we need to address that. And if you need to address that, you need to make structural changes to the market.
Correct.
So, my sense is, it's not going to be a big bang. Maybe it'll be gradual, but it'll happen over a period of time. I think there will be an incremental move towards opening up the market, which will happen, in a gradual, time-tested manner. And I think the industry needs to put this behind them. And I think there's a need now to really differentiate ourselves in terms of the trade, rather than just be, on a price point, but more on a value point.
Amar, coming back to you, do you think this is going to completely change the way Indian imports behave? In the sense, we now have 40% coming through Dore. We also are going to, at least that's what the trade says. It is the same trade which probably allows the grey market to thrive, but the parts of the trade says that grey market will increase. Now, that threat the government is now getting very frustrated about. They're saying, you guys are the ones who have to stop the grey market, and you're coming and telling us it's grey market. Because it's not entirely the trade issue. I'm just putting myself in the shoes of the government to say this. So, how do you see? Do you think that India's refined gold imports are going to absolutely die down? It will be either grey market or Dore.
So, I've heard most of the people here, all the panel speakers here. I don't think it will die down, but definitely impact on international import we have already witnessed since 2000, and it will continue. Looks like government is going to continue with the differential duty from gold ore as well as finished product. It means it is only going to go higher, but I think I will not say it will stop, but it will make very difficult for international bank like us to continue and support the Indian demand, especially what we saw in May and June, or April and May and June, because we don't keep enough inventory to support Indian market, because we are the needed only when the metal is not enough from the refinery. Coming back to some of the things which about duty and all people like, just 2 minutes are my thought. I think government is very clear they want to reduce the import. The international perspective, in my view, is they are going to raise dollar bond, and they want to look at the big picture. Things, how the fiscal data looks like, how inflation looks like. All these things will become more material as compared to what we are grappling. So I think this will be another thing to look at. We all have seen duty went from 1% to 10% in a matter of like 3 months. And as you said earlier, still the import figures are exactly the same. So it may impact, but somebody like Khoslaji said, he has to buy the jewelry, he will buy. Maybe the quantum will go up and down based on what he can afford. So I think duty to me, or international market, we perceive it's more like a raising revenue. However, this statement which came on later was a big surprise. And what view they have, possibly somebody like yourself will have more perspective there. But I think International Bullion Bank, like us, are awaiting for government to come out with these policies which will help government to reduce the import and support some of the refiners who are working in Indian environment where they don't have any serious bullion banking support, which makes them very difficult to operate in this environment. That's where I'll stop, and if anything else.
Sure. I'll come back to each one of you because I just want to hear the first reason. Sivanshu, you have, of course, in your speech, you have mentioned a few things. But what do you think? Again, we have to move away from duty because in the next round of questions I'll move on. What do you think? Is the duty a reversal of the government stance, or is it simply a revenue-raising exercise and nothing to be worried about? Because the trade pushes so hard, the government also has to come back with a defensive answer. And that answer is, you're non-essential. If you haven't pushed, if you have said, okay, it is very hard, you are taking away consumer savings, gold is very good for the country. We never made a very good logic about this. Government would not have reacted. This was not mentioned in the parliament. This was mentioned outside when somebody said, why are you increasing gold? You are supposed to reduce. They said, it's a non-essential import. So you push me, I'll push you back. Now, what is your take?
Diametric change. See, had the GMS been enabled,
Yes.
had you empowered and enabled the domestic under the pillow gold actually cycled and therefore substitute the imports and maybe increase the duty, it would 2 and 2 would still be 4, in my humble opinion, which probably has not happened for various reasons, which have implications on us also, like bullion banks hedge on domestic exchanges. They being allowed to play the role which will enable them to actually make GMS a success, right? So it's been part of the FAQs. Everybody's talked to the RBI independently. So that has not happened. It's a case in point. The other thing is that, of course, I mean, with the entry of all types of channels, gold versus known and established import, it changes the parity and disparity situation quite a lot on a daily basis, especially 2.5% is not a small amount. So there again presents some challenges momentarily because you're looking at retail investors also, right, who are wanting to place the international funds immediately. The third point, which some of the hedgers here, like Mr. Kothari, will also agree, is that we used to be having a percentage-based system of custom duty. And we shifted to, in 2014 February, if I'm not wrong, to the announcement of custom duty tariff twice a month. While our prices are a comprehensive cover for gold, international movement, custom duty tariff, as well as the currency, it's fine. The physical hedgers are able to lock in and protect them against these fortnightly movements. But like I said, certain of the market constituents who like to trace the international movements for various reasons, they may not find it fair.
Right. Okay. Now, coming back, as I said, one is the part of the duty. I have heard some of you. The general impression is that, yes, we should move out, but that it is causing issue, if I have summarized it right. But I want to come back to what we need to do as an industry, as Rajesh rightly said, and Kothari too. Yes, it has happened. Life is not coming to a standstill. 2% went up to 1% went up to 10%. We still live, and it is growing. 10 becomes 12.5, and we also need to look at other countries around us. How much are they taxing, etc., and how much do we pay to other asset classes? All that stuff needs to be looked at. Okay. Now, Srini, coming back to you, one of the things that the government obviously has, when we look at the figures, for those who don't know, what happened was there was a revised estimate. This came out in one of the reports by NIPFP. The revised estimate, which was announced in March, showed that the revenue collections, of which GST was the main part, was a certain percentage. Right? I forget the percentage, 17 or whatever. When the provisional estimate, which was cleared by the Auditor General, etc., came before the elections in the economic survey, there was a 1% drop a clear 1% drop for March 9, for the year 18-19. So the revised estimate in March said there is a certain percentage of revenue is what we estimate. Provisional estimate was 1% low. So our view is that, yeah, there had to be a revenue mopping exercise of which gold was a part, and we should not read too much into it. And actually, we must support the government, and industry must come together to make sure, as Kotariji said, no grey market. Grey market must be obliterated. Then, once the government sees it is also a level playing field. Why should the market ever go into a discount? If truly speaking, grey market doesn't survive. Now, that's again something which Kotariji also can answer. But coming back to you, Srini, why do you think, with all that, one of the important things is increase exports, right? And we claim to be handcraft experts, and we are definitely. Why is it that our genuine exports are not increasing? And there has been no really tangible, workable, practical solutions on that. So, what do you think about it? Would that not be an answer? Or is it that has been given up and therefore the government says, look, nothing can be done about exports. I don't think there are any solutions in my mind and nobody gives me a credible solution. Let me tax the domestic consumption.
We should be practical. Actual domestic production, whatever we are producing, only 10% we are exporting.
Yes.
90% is domestic consumption.
Correct.
Suppose somebody start factory only for exports, we have to think about his viability also.
Correct.
And balancing also we have to see. See abroad, 2 months, 3 months, suppose we are having too much of overheads, how to manage? This is also a big question.
Yes.
So, see, actually what I am saying, actually government increase revenue, that's not a problem. Actually, no, they have not thought about the reactions. Now, those who are sitting, all are actually organized player, they have invested a lot. Now, all of a sudden, they are changing the system. Changing the system means organized players are suffering. Suffering in terms of so many things, not only money, right? Actually, employment, money, other things, other side effects. For this, no, government has not given a thought. What I am asking is, actually, before increasing the duty, they should understand the impacts. After understanding, they must have increased in the sense that is right. See, this is not the only solution, duty increase. There is some other way also, they can curtail the imports, which they have not given a thought. Okay. That is my opinion.
All right. Now, coming back, Kotariji, what do you think? Why is this issue of duty? Okay. Again, why is this affecting the market? Why is the market at a discount for the organized players? There must be a fundamental issue. I just want you and Rajesh to answer that. And it is not the government's issue. If everybody pays taxes, if everybody is paying 12.5%, why should there? It's a level playing field. Ultimately, it's only the consumer who will have to answer. They will withdraw. And we all know Indians will not withdraw from buying gold. In fact, I am very happy that they raised duty because I bought gold last year. My price is higher now.
Everyone making money.
Everyone making money. Why is this interruption coming? What is causing that? And is that the government responsible for it?
First thing, government जो export जो करते हैं उनको कोई incentive नहीं देती.
ठीक है, government incentive for exports.
Incentive नहीं देती. Secondly, जब export करते हैं तो उस capital was blocked. First, 12.5% custom duty we have to pay the bank and 3% IGST we have to pay. 15.5% we have to block and plus 5% for unfixed. It means 20% we block the amount till the BRC is not complete. So what's the percentage of profit plus value addition? What the making charges? We are competing with the international market like Turkey, Italy, and also now making the everywhere. So we are competing 20% if I block in a banks. If I rotate 5 times, my whole capital should be blocked.
Yeah.
How can I do the business?
So clearly there is a clogging of the export incentives, which is a big problem. Now that's something which we should push the government on. But why is the Indian market affecting the organized trade? I want you to answer me.
Second thing, in June and July, everyone waiting for the monsoon.
Yes.
So lots of unscrapped gold are coming in the market. It's a practice every year, not
Yes.
this year. But this year suddenly the international prices move higher because
Yes.
of interest rate cut. And second, the rupee also.
Yes.
The two most affected, and third is the custom duty. So prices move higher, so lot of scrap are coming in the market, the profit taking also in the market, and everyone need the, and crisis is the everywhere is the money crisis is everywhere.
Yes.
If you see the whole globally
Correct.
is a money crisis. In India affected more.
Correct.
So everyone are selling. Here not a grey market is moving that smuggled goods coming. No, the local goods are coming huge quantity in the market. But where is the demand? No one can buy it. That's the effect on the market.
So it is not the government's duty raise.
No, duty is listen, when the 10% custom duty introduced, that time we pay 2,30,000 for 10 grams, 4 kilo, 2,30,000 rupees. At the time, 10% duty is the same, we pay 3,27,000. It means almost 15% is there. And now if the prices move 1,800,
Yeah.
suppose duty, custom duty is 10%.
Yeah.
But if price move to 1,800, then custom duty is today.
Yes.
So custom duty doesn't affect, but the blockage of the money, if suppose today I order 1 ton of gold, we have to put 40 crore of custom.
Correct.
So our capital should be the block. And everyone knows the profit of the gold. It's a $1, $0.5 or $1.5, and we are depend on the international market, the domestic market, supply, demand, interest rate, bank interest rate, and overall expenses. And the profit margin should be very less. We cannot survive.
Okay, it's a very interesting point. Rajesh, I have a thought on this. I mean, any other industry saying this, the government will say, just get your inventory act together. You know, why are you coming and blaming me? You guys, who is asking you to put up 1,000 designs of the same jimki? You know, just do something else. You know, that's what the government will say. But Rajesh.
I'm going to give you a contrarian view, as usual. Do you know that the exports of gold jewelry from India have crossed 250 tons per annum? I would like to compliment the industry for this outstanding performance. And yet we are complaining about, I don't have this, I don't have that. Of course we have problems. Of course there are problems with regard to financing. And yes, Prithviraj is right. The disparity is a mix of scrap coming into the market at lower prices and also a little bit of smuggled gold coming in. But the point is, of this 250 tons, I think it's 270 actually, we know that there is a significant quantity that we, let's say we are a little quiet, we don't like to talk about it. And here is my challenge to industry. And you know, I'm in that boat and I'm going to row and I'm not going to wait for the wind. And I'm asking this guy who is having this ore, who is the exporter of the industry, saying, have you investigated where this 200 tons export is coming from? And if you think it's not right, what are you doing about it? And why do you expect me, the government of India, to do anything about it? Somebody over here needs to address that issue fairly and squarely. Because as finance ministry, I think gold jewelry exports are brilliant. 270 tons a year. Never seen this in my life.
Great. Now, this is again the issue. If you really see, we have a figure of 270, and we don't trust that figure also. We know how it has come. Absolutely.
The figure is right.
No, when I say
I think we also know how it's happening.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, none of us is willing to do anything about it.
Absolutely, and this is not the government's issue, this is
Not
the
the
industry's
government's
issue. We have one of the most absolutely creative industry, probably not being able to bring its own synergies into play with the government. With the result, I'm going to answer the first question later. But before that, let me just pick up some people from the audience, if you're okay, because we will have to give some time. Yes, if you can give. James and sir, you. What is your take on this whole thing? I mean, are we in a situation where we want to keep blaming the government? Yes, the duty increase is a disappointing one, but are we really blaming the government, or so that we don't have to attend to other issues like, I'm just saying, hallmarking, okay? And they're all very complicated issues. So just keep pushing, saying, oh, duty has killed the industry. Are we in that mode of always claiming victimhood, or what's your view on that? I'm sorry, I'm putting words into your mouth. I want you to say that, but if you don't, it's fine.
नमस्कार जी, गवर्नमेंट ने जो ये स्टेप लिया है, ये इंडस्ट्री आसानी रख रही थी.
Sorry sir, 1 minute. He is the president of the Indian Hallmarking Association and a bullion trader from Calcutta, for those who don't know, and a very seasoned person. We don't have too many chairs here, so he's.
गवर्नमेंट ने जो ड्यूटी बढ़ाई है, इसका दो कारण हो सकता है. आइदर उसमें से अर्निंग करने की आशा रखते होंगे, या फिर गोल्ड इंडस्ट्री को जैसे बताया कि वो अपने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है, अपने मतलब इंडस्ट्री का इम्पोर्टेंस नहीं दे रहे हैं, उसके लिए हो सकता है. तो फर्स्ट स्टेप यदि गवर्नमेंट ने आशा रखी होगी कि ड्यूटी बढ़ने से इनकम उसकी बढ़ेगी, तो जितना हम समझ रहे हैं कि गवर्नमेंट की इनकम नहीं बढ़ेगी. यदि उसको 100 रुपया ड्यूटी से कलेक्शन होता है, तो आप देखिएगा 3 महीने का जो फिगर आएगा उसमें इंपोर्ट कम हो जाएगा. गोल्ड का खपत उतना ही रहेगा, लेकिन रास्ता बदल जाएगा. जो ऑफिशियली चैनल से जो गोल्ड आता है, आइदर फ्रॉम दौरेबार या डायरेक्ट इंपोर्ट करके, वो रास्ता बदल जाएगा और स्मगलिंग होके गोल्ड आएगा. क्योंकि बाजार में ओपन मार्केट में 5 से 6% का डिफरेंस चल रहा है. लोग 3% का जीएसटी देने के बाद में भी उसको फायदा होता है. तो छोटा छोटा परचेस हो जाएगा, आइदर ज्वेलर्स के यहाँ से, उसको कस्टमर से बाई दिखाई देगा, दिखा के वो माल स्मगलिंग वाला माल उसमें ऐड हो जाएगा. तो इसमें टोटल जो इंपोर्ट कम होने की वजह से गवर्नमेंट को कस्टम ड्यूटी में कोई फायदा होने वाला नहीं है. जो आज की तारीख में यदि उसको 100 रुपया मिलता है तो 100 रुपया ही मिलेगा, उससे बेसी नहीं मिलेगा. लेकिन ये पूरी इंडस्ट्री इसमें डिस्टर्ब हो रही है. सबको अनऑफिशियली चैनल का माल को ऑफिशियली में कन्वर्ट करना पड़ेगा. तो मेरा इसमें रिक्वेस्ट है कि वर्ल्ड गोल्ड काउंसिल इसमें लीडरशिप लेके अपने डिफरेंट एसोसिएशन को मिला के एक वॉइस में गवर्नमेंट के पास में इसकी डिमांड रखे कि 10% ही ड्यूटी रखे, जो नॉर्मल इतना दिन से चल रही थी, वही इंडस्ट्री का भला होगा.
Thank you, sir. James, do you want to add anything? Specifically to my question, do you really think who is responsible for smuggled gold? I mean, there was a question here, so I just want to, who is responsible for smuggled gold? Why should smuggled gold ever enter the society? I mean, people who want to smuggle, let them. Drugs don't enter the city. Druggists go to the drug centers and buy drugs. Why should smuggled gold get into any part of the trade?
It's definitely not the consumer who is responsible for smuggling, because I would like to re-emphasize what some of our speakers have already mentioned.
Sure.
So Srinivasan has said that because of the hike in the import duty, the trade is shifting to the unorganized sector. The 5% difference between the organized and unorganized sector, for which Rajesh Costa has amply given a very convincing reply, saying that he has taken the consumer to 4 or 5 shops who are willing to give what you call uninvoice, without invoice or whatever it is. That the lesser price, but they opted for a better quality with invoicing the genuine gold. That is the real reason. So it's not the consumer, it's the trade. Federal
Yeah.
is there. And number two, I would like to re-emphasize what Neville has mentioned. In the past 30, 40 or 50 years, we have never seen any of the governments making any announcements in the budget about any policy or anything. But in the last budget of February, unfortunately, it was a pre-election budget.
Yeah.
We could not see it materializing. But we have heard about the three things you have mentioned.
Yeah.
The industry is going to have a transformation. The government is seriously working on transforming the industry. They have clearly spelled out the three things.
You think it will happen?
It is going to happen because the same government is continuing. Maybe after the budget session is over, it should happen.
Yeah.
So it's a very positive for the industry.
Right. Okay. So I'm coming back to the panel. Kotariji, a very, very direct question. Do you think the industry should truly shed all this? You have seen how views differ even here. Industry should actually now have one collective voice. Again, I'm putting words into my mouth, but you can always reject the entire thing. Isn't that the need of the hour? Instead of everybody saying, yeah, smuggling will go. And this I have heard from people in the ministry. When you say smuggling goes, say, who buys smuggling? Somebody has said, I think it must be a person very closer to finance ministry than any of us here. Who buys smuggled gold? I mean, you are assuming as a smuggled gold is a set of people who can bring gold without this. You guys only process the smuggled gold. Then why should we not have a system whereby every gold, just like in China, it comes only through the spot exchange. Okay? Therefore, any jeweler will have to show that he has bought from somebody who has bought from the spot exchange. If that system comes, then the government will know there can't be smuggled gold. Anybody buying gold will be completely out of the system. Now, what do you think? I mean, do you think we should push for all the initiatives? We should just, take the foot off the pedal.
जो अभी अजमेरा जी ने बोला है कि 3 महीने में अगर रेवेन्यू कम हो जाती है, even if revenue is down, government are planning to be a gold control act. आप इतना इजी लाइटली मत लीजिए कि गवर्नमेंट ने 12.5% कुछ सोच के किया. They wanted to reduce, they wanted to be a act in the gold control act. Simply they are wanting to be a simply आपको बिजनेस आपके हिसाब से जो सही है वो करना है. If you want to be a $5 trillion industry in 2022, आपको सही सोर्स में माल लेना चाहिए. No one can in Jhaveri Bazaar taking in the cash. First thing, we are all purchasing from the check. But what happened? You cannot, in the market, you cannot say this is a smuggled goods or this is a paid goods. How you can imagine? Which the 17,000 tons of gold coming in India as per the RBI data. Is it smuggled gold? No, it's a paid custom, pure paid custom gold. You cannot imagine this is the gold is a smuggled, this is a not smuggled. If my grandfather is still they have a gold and I am selling in the market, but I don't have any document. So it's a smuggled, but yes, government says it's a smuggled. So we cannot determine because we are just on the shop and taking the goods.
Right.
Okay.
No, I understand the difficulties.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we are saying that you have a bill. No, it's from my mother or my grandmother. We cannot buy. We can buy because we are just a business of 1,000 or 2,000 rupees. Everyone. If it's a melted, I gave you the one example. If we smuggle golds, it's a melted, and they put in the duplicate bar and selling in the market. What we can do? Nothing. But it's मेरा 40 साल का एक्सपीरियंस में बताता व्हाट हैपन नाउ. जैसे if 12.5% is there, every small jewelers or trader they make huge money. They are happy.
Yeah.
They don't want to be reduced the custom duty.
Yes.
Only who want to be reduced custom duty, like
Srinivasan, because they are sitting on the very upside. Their huge inventory is there. We are worried. But each and every, I talk to everywhere, like from Calcutta to Jammu Kashmir, everyone happy with the custom duty 12.5%. हमको तो अभी मजा है, पैसा अच्छा बनेगा. But we are facing problem. The import figure has brought down. Government again said, yes, this illegal channel are more active than the
Right.
right. So we
Okay, I get the point. So recycling, because in India we still hold 25,000 tons, just for the sake of some of the people around. Households regularly come and sell gold, and you increase the duty, smuggled gold will come in like retail recycled gold. That's the point Mr. Kothari was making, and that's a very valid point, because how does the jeweler know whether that whatever the piece of gold that comes from a retail person is a smuggled gold or a normal gold? Having said that, yeah, it is still something which I believe it's about 80 tons, but recycling comes and you can figure out whether the person walking into your shop is actually a person who will have a certain amount of jewelry, or is he carrying smuggled gold. But it's for the industry to come together and curb smuggling apart from what the government does, and then create a level playing field. My question is, the level playing field is, non-availability of a level playing field is what hurts organized players, not the duty per se. I mean, if you really look at it, we have even countries with 17% duty at one stage, but then there is a level playing field. Everybody pays, so that it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's the consumer's choice. And the biggest thing in India is that the consumers are not seeing this as a thing. In fact, consumers will see this more as a positive thing, because the gold price keeps going up, whether due to international factors or duty. And they are very happy that they always keep buying gold. But I agree there with the organized players thing. I just want very quickly to invite some people from, who have traveled. Albert, can I take your view on that? Now, you have seen this. You have also worked in the World Gold Council earlier. You have seen India. You have seen China. You have seen China's duty, 13%, if it is off the exchange. What do you think? What do you think about this India's duty just becoming 10 to 12.5%? So what would you, from outside, think about this move? This is, take the fact that it is a revenue raising exercise, not killing the gold import. It is not a 80-20. See, if the government wanted to kill imports, they would have come out with something like 80-20. They just want more revenue, so it is 2.5%, and they see the price going up. How do you see from outside this?
Well, I think one fundamental thing about the gold market is, if there is a disparity between domestic price and your nearby country, there is always incentive to smuggle gold. So that's the prerequisite. And I think the best thing, if you just said that this is a temporary government revenue seeking process, then I think we might have to wait until the government completed this short-term revenue seeking process. In the long run, I think India, as the country is proceeding on, is to have an overall structural changes, which I think the previous gold report on the various things the industry should continue to charge on to realize those things, which to result in a structural changes in the gold market, which, for example, China has a model which may not be exactly that you can follow. All the rest of Southeast Asia, like Thailand, like Singapore, or like Malaysia, they have gone through some structural changes to become an open market. India actually has been discussing this in the last 2 years, and these things suddenly to step on. But if this is temporary, the industry should charge on, continue the process. That's what my opinion on the current situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And sir, can we take some of the questions now? And then we can always, we have 20 minutes, so we can always debate, but we can probably look through the questions. One of the things here, can we just go through one question? Because somebody done. Why worry about government policy? What's happening to build trust in the domestic supply so that consumers know that the product is what it claims to be? Absolutely, that's the more important thing. And I just want to add to Doug's point here, and then probably give it to you, Srini, to first make a comment. You see, why does the government? Somebody has asked also the image. What is this image? All the stalwarts are talking about the image. What is the image thing? I know about a couple of months ago, the government called a meeting of hallmarking, right? And it was inconclusive. I believe the minister attended of Consumer Affairs, and if my information is correct, I couldn't attend that meeting. He was at one stage, he got frustrated and said, "You guys decide what you want to do," and he walked out of the meeting. We can't come to a conclusion on such an important thing as hallmarking because we never care about the consumer in that sense, right? Now, it appears to be an isolated issue, but what I'm bringing is that is the image of the government. These guys don't want hallmarking, don't want standards. It is another thing, you have some genuine problems, you're not able to convince. I'm not going into the merits of the issue. I'm saying from the government's point of view, these guys are actually one who don't want standards, who don't want to support the consumers. Therefore, you may think that this is not linked to the tax issue, but I believe strongly it is linked. That's the image of the issue. This industry will never change. They will always do what is beneficial to them. Therefore, when nothing is possible, just increase the duty. I'm saying that. So, now coming back, Srini, what do you think?
You are saying that industry will not change.
Sorry?
You said industry will not change, right? What I'm saying.
No, I'm just saying that's the image of the government.
What is it like? First to know, government has to understand 70% people know agriculture income. For them, number one, number two, there is no difference. Wherever they are getting a cheaper price, they are going and buying. Before doing anything, government give a deep thought. See, actually, they are saying you export. But actually, there is a high competition. We have to think about Penang. They are very free. Just like that, they are bringing and they are delivering in Dubai. But here it is not possible. Lot of cumbersome processes. Everything, each and every process, there is a cost. Then we have to think, end of the day, we will be competitive or not. All of a sudden, increasing export, whether it is possible or not, we have to think. Government is thinking about CFC. CFC, it's a long way process. Common facility center, skill development. These things, it will take long time. But not just we have started initiation. Immediately, we cannot increase the export. So many problems are there. First, government should understand the industry. Accordingly, government has to react.
Srini, I completely understand. What you're saying is, don't try to change everything overnight. Don't boil the ocean. Take it one at a time. But I have a slight difference of opinion from what this is. I agree. As a person who has worked in this country for so many years, I also think that fast change is not our style. We don't like it unless we have a huge issue like 91. The point is, when we say there are numerous problems in exports, procedures are cumbersome, sir, you also said that. My question is, we is a big industry, we have lots of associations. Why? Let's assume for a minute, this government, it is responsive, I must say that, it is very responsive. This government you are in Singapore and you are talking to the Singapore government. Because we all know, we always believe Singapore government reacts with great speed and they understand and, we are in Singapore. And Amar is also working there, he knows that thing. Let's assume for a minute that, why can't we make one simple paper to the government and say, these are the changes required, these are the risks for you, but this is how we will do it. My question is, it's an industry which has been in existence at least after the 91, 30 years now. Can't we just go to the government and say, these are the 10 issues, just like how we said gold policy, these are the 10 issues, please change it. The government is going to say, no, if I change this, these kind of people will misuse the law. It's going to be easy. Why are we not able to do it? We just simply say government procedures are cumbersome, government doesn't change it. It's not that the government does not want to change it. Why? Why do you think it's not there? Rajesh, I would like you to also respond to this. Let Rajesh respond first.
There I go again. It's a little tiring to constantly hear an industry complaining and expecting somebody else to come and sort out its problems. I have to go to government, I need a 10-point agenda, 4-point, 3-point, whatever points. Let me put on the hat of government. Gentlemen, I concede that you want me to do all these things. But you know, I have a wish list for you also. And would you like to listen to my wish list, which I think you can do without my intervention? And should you do at least part of the wish list, then I'm willing to consider how to make your life easier. Because this is not one-way traffic, this is two-way traffic. So let's look at a wish list that I have for industry. Instead of industry always coming to me and saying, I need this, I need this, I need this. Now government is saying, listen to me, this is what I need from you. Why are you not developing a standard? Why do you want me to develop a standard for you? Are you not capable and competent to develop your own standard? Number one. Because all over the world, you know, governments don't set the standards for gold. You have individual industry-controlled associations that set the standards for gold. And commodity exchanges all over the world accept those standards. We, on the other hand, go crying to government and say, please will you set a standard? And I'm saying enough of that. Industry, wake up, set the standard yourself.
You see
I haven't finished yet, so
Yeah, sorry.
give me a few
Sorry.
minutes, please. Then we say, we've got this constant, you know, if you've ever gone into a battlefield, you should go into a battlefield where you have the jewelers on one side, and with due respect, you have the hallmarkers on the other side. And take it from me, they would kill each other. Because both of them believe they're right, and both of them believe that the other guy is wrong. Now, we've watched this debate over the years. We've got, sitting over here, 4 of the premier trade associations in this country. And I asked them, if this is causing you so much concern, what stops you from setting up a hallmarking center yourself? Nothing in the world stops you from doing this. Please go ahead and do this. Find the finest technology in the world. Give this as a service to your jewelers, and then we will address any issues you may have between the jeweler and the hallmarker. We constantly have this issue, and Nilesh, of course, I have debates with him on this. When you alloy gold, you're buying gold which is 22 carat, or 916, sorry, or 995 really is the gold bar. And you're going to alloy it down, you're going to dilute its purity to 22 or 18 or 14, depending as to what kind of jewelry you're making. All over the world, there are set alloys that you must use to deliver the right quality of the alloy that you will use for making jewelry. Where do I see industry associations taking the lead for this? Why are industry associations not telling their members, you want to be an IBJA accredited jeweler? Brilliant concept. Well, young man, you're going to confirm to me that this is the alloy you're going to use to make 18 or 22 carat jewelry. And please note, this is the hallmarking center you will go to, and he's the guy who's going to hallmark it to you. And if you do at least these 2 things, then IIGC, I'm willing to put my name behind you. That's my response to
Right.
it.
So you're
And you
saying
don't need government for this.
absolutely. So this is the point we are coming back. Industry leadership is more important now, and image of the industry is a holistic image. You can't simply say, "Don't worry, hallmarking, I'll keep fighting you," but think of me as a very, very nice thing. I mean, I'm just linking the two. Now, coming back to the bankers, particularly on the image and a couple of questions. We still have 11 minutes. I'm very much conscious of time, so we have. You can please post your question. Neville, you have heard people, and you're all supporting, but you're outside this. You tell us what is the image of this industry. Don't talk about individuals. I'm not saying the industry within the banking sector.
Yeah, I think there's definitely.
Amar, I'm coming to you later.
Uh,
And be very frank. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not talking about individuals. Your customers might be of the highest order because they have certain net worth, etc. But a normal jeweler, which is SME, comes to you.
So yeah, I think there would be a trust deficit, right?
Absolutely.
And as bankers, we would be very careful. Our credit would be very careful. Our operational risk would be very careful.
So you are more giving a personal loan.
Yeah, we are cautious.
And why do you think it is? Why do you think it is?
I-
When you say we are cautious, I understand you'll be cautious about everything.
I think in certain sense it's quite opaque what is happening. The industry is quite opaque. Something being purchased, you don't know what's happening with it later on.
I think these are very important things coming from a banker.
So I think it creates some amount of, and then how is this gold being deployed? I mean, how is the jewelry being sold? That's a question.
Again, a lot of cash.
Yeah, and so you have a reputation risk associated with it. So you need to be very careful when you are onboarding customers.
If I may ask you just as interest thing, a restaurant guy comes to you, small guy, restaurant, it's a SME, and a jeweler comes to you. I mean, restaurant guy is also dealing lots in cash.
Yeah, I think point taken, right? But I think that the fact is the narrative around, right? The issues that have happened recently. I think all these things weigh down.
I think that is something again the industry has to take into account. It is not something which you can eradicate. Amar, what do you think? You have, of course, been a bullion banker. You have supplied bullion. I'm not talking to you about your clients. Please, I mean, let nobody have any doubt. I'm just talking to you about generally about the industry. A person unknown to you in the industry, but probably getting named, coming to you. How would you do? What's your image? What's the first impression you get?
I'm lucky that I have to deal with large banks. Definitely, I have worked with earlier ICICI Bank. One thing is, I don't think the problem is here. Perception is mainly because these are very fragmented, very unorganized, very large industry. And some of the backlog which we carry is there in the mind, and it will take generations to clear it. So I think we all have to continuously focus and keep welcoming the change. I think, like I remember when I was in ICICI, when it came like more than X amount, less than check and all that. A lot of noise, but we all adopted. We all adopted banking is in another level. So I think one thing is that change is coming, and we all have seen. I think these all are very specific event like duty hike, etc. It will keep on going. It's all of us need to work upon to change the perception. And especially 2013 and 14, we saw some of the major incidents which has damaged more perception, especially as a banker. Like I don't want to take the name, I think all of us know. But these all is not going in a right direction for all of us. I think one thing I was hearing all of you talking about, one thing I want to tell you, it's okay, industry has to do, industry has to take the lead, but government also has to create necessary framework.
Yeah.
I'm not saying policy, there is nothing wrong and right. What you have to make, okay, this is what industry require to work and operate.
Yeah.
Give it, there will be nothing 100% right which you can create on zero.
Yeah.
So one thing I want to say, like you took the example of Singapore, it's not been made success in every aspect, but it's a vibrant, successful market. So in India, I think as some of the leading, whether it is IIGC, whether it is World Code Council or various industry associations, work to create that framework. Whether that hallmarking is responsibility of World Code Council working with some organization, but it is something government has to come back and give the bank. Like people said, why $20 discount? Is it not duty smuggling? It is another factor is there is no banking in the market. If SDFC can buy a $20 discount, absolutely will it come and the liquidity, this 20 will become $5. But the problem is, we all are not saying what this gold globally is a very, you can't have this industry growing too far without having a solid banking support. As Kothariji mentioned, export market is competing with market like Turkey, or Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, where the lease rates are 100 basis point. I don't know how much Srinivasan pays, maybe 400 basis point, 300 basis point. So what I'm trying to say, this framework, and it's not too much change, it's continuous. These are two changes I want. If you give me, I can help this disparity will not go more than $5. So these are some of the framework asked is quite reasonable in my view.
Can we go through the questions now so that I can? Yeah.
On the same point, just like you have the GDP of nations, the correlation with how many Olympic champions get created over time. Similarly, this industry has been subjected to so much change in such a short window of time, right? It will show results because we encounter so many small dwellers as a part of our regular exercise along with IBJ. We conduct awareness programs. So just like the awareness about risk management or GST compliances or hallmarking, we cover all these subjects together with hedging. So all of these things are evolving, and as we evolve, these cases of defaults will automatically come down. It will take time.
Yeah, thanks. And now let's go through the questions. I want each one of you to take one of them. Can we go through the first one, please? I've got the top questions. There are 9. Can we go through the first one? Up. Yeah. All right. I'll open my thing. There you go. All right. Let's take the question, is the gold industry ready to be regulated? This summarizes most of what we have. I think it's a comment. But is the gold industry ready to be regulated? So I guess you are mentioning, should there be a regulator for gold? Sir, what's your view?
I think the regulator must be required in this industry. What happened? सबसे बड़ा इंडस्ट्री में दुर्भाग्य है कि हम लोग यहाँ पे हमारी सबकी हम लोग अंदर ही एक नहीं. The main reason, if IIGC is having some issues, other association or other are there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There is no single voice.
We are looking forward, looking behind what the internationally are doing well. Why they are doing well? We are 130 crores. Why we are not competitive? We have a manpower, we have everything, but where we are? Still we are talking about the smuggling, still we are talking about the impure. Why not 100% compulsory hallmarking? We compete with the international market. Why we? Yeah. The regulator must require a guideline. There is no guideline is there. If a banker says the reputation is if you are a bullion dealer, you are selling as a IDX, as compared to the government. You are selling IDX like a bullion dealer. But where is your guideline how to go?
Sir,
If your
can I-
guidelines is there,
Yes.
so banker have to give the guideline. If you don't sell, don't do this, don't do this, then we can go on.
Absolutely. Sir, I'm only saying
So,
again,
just a
Rajesh.
quick
Sure.
comment. It's pretty simple. Don't call him a regulator. Just call him a facilitator.
Yeah. Rajesh, my question is, and that's a brilliant point. My question is, why should we wait for the government to form a regulator or a facilitator? Why don't we just do it as an industry body and roll out regulations and say everybody should follow? All of us will have a view. Maybe the domestic council can do it. Please don't think that I'm trying to create another structure here. That's not my impression. But let's call. We have done it effectively for the spot exchange. Everybody's voice was heard. Very happy for us to be a member in that. Let's just mimic a regulatory body and later tell the government, please take it over. That's how most things have happened. If we all know, that's fine. So we all agree it must be regulated, and we all believe from all these discussions, maybe it will be in the interest of the industry to have its own, mimic a regulatory body, and then go and tell the government this is how you should react. I think that will be a good idea. Is there a need for more robust data in gems and jewelry? Absolutely, from my point of view. Probably then the government will take note of the demands of the industry. I'll ask the bankers this. Do you think the data is sufficient? You are very happy?
I think from
When you analyze anything, your credit proposals, I think the industry data.
Yeah, I think when we are typically analyzing companies, and I think that data is available. And I think we as an organization, obviously, when we onboard a customer,
What about the gems and jewelry industry?
Yeah, gems and jewelry also. It's a stepwise kind of relationship deepening. So obviously we see more transactional behavior.
So
and that's where
you're not on the aggregate data, but
we look at more
yeah.
transactional behavior.
Srini, what do you think? The data is sufficient in this industry? Do you really know how many jewelers are there in this country?
Sir, first government should stop smuggling. Without stopping smuggling, actually parallel industries, industry business is happening, then how can we get the right data?
We will do a survey of smugglers in the country. I wish I could do that. But yeah, do you really believe data is sufficient?
I was listening to him, and he said, government should stop smuggling. It's as though the government is the smuggler.
I know, that was a good one. We are almost close to the time, but yeah, I understand. But my question directly is, do you think we have sufficient data on all aspects of the industry? You go to a cement industry, you go to any of the organized industry, they really have a lot of data. Do you think we have the data?
Sir, everything is in government hand.
Everything is gone.
Now one thing,
Yeah.
you take airlines, air travel. They are getting all the details. How? Because they have a very good controlling mechanism. Only because of that they are getting all the details, right? Same thing happened in jewelry industry also. But they have to give a deep thought. They have to discuss with the industry. Then everything will happen. Now it is a one-sided.
Yeah, but Srini, let me tell you, between hallmarking data from BIS and GST data, which the government today has, I guess they can have a pretty good picture of what's happening in each places. But
Sir,
my
no,
view again is,
hallmarking, there is no weight.
There is no
That
data, but there is
data only approximation only.
no in the hallmarking.
Only pieces. Hallmarking
Sir,
only
would you like
pieces.
to comment? I mean, hallmarking data is so detailed.
Last year financial year 4,49,00,000 पीस हॉलमार्क हुआ है. पीसेस है.
नहीं, weight.
वेट अप्रोक्सीमेटली 10 ग्राम वेट
Approximate
सब लेबोरेटरी अपना वेट का वजन का हर मंथली स्टेटमेंट बीआईएस में देते हैं और उसका अप्रोक्सीमेटली वजन 10 ग्राम करके पकड़ा जाता है. तो करीब 450 टन से 500 टन ज्वेलरी हॉलमार्क हुआ है जिसकी रॉयल्टी हमने गवर्नमेंट को दी है.
ठीक है. So there is Let me, because there is no conclusion here, as a moderator, let me say there is a need for more data, more robust data. We don't even have data on the number of jewelers in the country, their addresses. Actually, every association has its own set and there is duplication. So that's what I would say. We have to go back. I think we are just over on the time. Ask government to levy 5% GST without input credit. This will discourage. A very good comment. We'll take all this. Why is the panel not ready to discuss the export of 270 tons of export, which Mr. Rajesh explained? Where is it? It's a lot of round tripping. That's what he mentioned in very nice words. You want to hear it directly, and that's what it is. What is the industry doing about those big jewelers who are selling hallmark jewelry, which is under carry? Why should, okay, as I said, the regulator will take care of it. Very nice. Why will the jewelry associations not regulate themselves? I'm sorry, I'm not pushing it because we have run out of time. I'm doing it on behalf of all of you. Why will jewelry associations not regulate themselves? Absolutely, this is what we have now concluded. As the World Gold Council, let me assure you, we will put together a format by which we will mimic the regulator. That's probably one thing I will commit here, and we will get it delivered, certainly. And we will have every important industry member having a say in it, and even those outside the committee will always have a say, and we will be transparent. Now we'll develop a framework for it and agree it with all of you. Comment standards is a key enabler. Industry has to take the leap of faith. RJC standards, code of practices can be adopted. Of course, we will make sure that RJC is part of this committee. Gold is a non-regulated, in most part. Why is India different? Well, we explained. We have a current account deficit. 90% of all gold is imported, and that becomes a cause of problem for the government. That's the reason why all this is happening. And consumers love gold. Current account deficit overburdening. To overcome, government can explore mining production. Absolutely, but our tiger population has just gone up, so I'm not very sure that we'll be digging any ground anywhere sooner. Our forests and others, we respect them much more. I'm not very sure that mining is a very immediate opportunity. There are some mines which have been identified, and I'm told that there is some traction in this, but 600, 700 tons, but I don't know. We will have to have a separate conference on that. I would leave it with that because with my speed, the speed of questions are also increasing. So, is there a lack of understanding of the gold market of the government? At least, yes, within the government, absolutely. But there has been some big, moves from the government. I'm not, this thing. All I have seen the last 2 years is there is a genuine, absolutely genuine move on the part of the government to understand every segment. But this is very complex industry, and as I said, there has never been a single voice. All the industry leaders agree. One person says something about hallmarking, Mr. James and others will go and say something, hallmarking is important, they'll be fully convinced. Somebody else will go and say how this is the most, worst idea. They are very confused, but there is a genuine, understanding. Mr. Ratan Batal, who wrote the report, spent hours understanding this. I think we have people in the industry who are now understanding. I think I'll stop with this. And would smuggling reduce if import duty was cut to 8%? That's not for me to answer. It is very difficult to say. Smuggling should not happen even at 12.5%. That's our point of view. Thank you very much for patiently listening to us, and thank you all the panelists.
Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for all our esteemed panelists, and of course our moderator, Mr. Sundaram. Thank you so much. Keywords: industry leadership, collective conscious efforts, more unity, more transparency, and of course welcoming the change. And we thank each one of you for your valuable insights, sharing your foresights for the future, paving the way forward for new initiatives. And at this moment, may I request our moderator for the session, Mr. Sundaram, to kindly present a memento to our esteemed panelists, to kindly present a memento to Mr. Rajesh Khoslaji. To present a memento to Mr. Shivanshu Mehta.
girl. Damn girl. Damn girl. Damn girl. Damn girl. Damn girl. Damn girl. I like the way you moving to the drum.